So we're here in Four Sisters National Park in the Double Bridge Valley. We're about 5 hours outside of Chengdu. We're right here at about 3,700 meters above sea level, so it's pretty high. Just walking up here, it was a little hard to hike, but you can see behind me these beautiful mountains. The Four Sisters Mountains are named for four extremely tall mountains between 5,000 and 6,000 meters, and of course there's four of them. In Chinese you would call this Siguniangshan, or Four Sisters Mountain. And here's some sweet footage of what the mountains look like. This is the ticket area. You can see behind me there's lots of little souvenir shops that sell these kind of cheesy, kind of fake cowboy hats and other things. So yeah, we're about to buy our ticket and go into the park. Okay, we're inside the ticket office. I just bought my ticket for 150 kwai. This is for Double Bridge Valley, or Shuangchao Go. So you're going to need to register on an app through probably WeChat or Alipay, and you're going to need to pay there. If you don't know how to do that, probably Chinese staff can help you here. The ticket here is 150 kwai. So every single valley you go into in Four Sisters Park is going to be 150 kwai. So it's a little bit expensive, but I'd say the beautifulness of the park is really worth it. So Four Sisters area has about 3 separate valleys, and each one you can easily spend 1 to 2 days in. So the first one we are in is a little bit more wilder, called Changping Valley. This is Double Bridge Valley, and the third one is Haizi Valley. If you're looking for beautiful alpine lakes, I recommend Haizi Valley. If you're looking for wild hiking and actually climbing some 5,000 meter peaks, I recommend the Changping Valley. I actually did a video on that in part 1 of this series. You can see that link down below here on the YouTube channel. And right now we are in Double Bridge Valley, or Shuangchao Go. So we're hiking here and it's beautiful. So you're going to ride the brown public park bus as soon as you get through the entrance ticket gate, and that's going to take you 30 minutes to the end of the park here in the Sequoia Valley at about 3,800 meters. And then you can kind of walk on this wooden pathway and you can make your way down. You can walk all the way down the park, or you can kind of hop on and off the green public park bus and do one of the many wooden walkways that I'm walking on here. Honestly, as an American backpacker, you might find the wooden walkway and the classic Chinese model of park tourism a little cheesy. It's definitely not as wild and as adventurous as we might like, where we park our car and kind of go out in the woods for days on our own. But I will say it's beautiful, definitely worth 150 kwai to get here. And for me, I was just hiking at 4,400 meters. I feel pretty tired, and I'm happy to have a little bit of a rest day. So walk on these wooden paths is fine for me today. because I was pretty beat from my big adventure the last couple days of my birthday. So I'm actually kind of thankful to have a little bit more of a rest day. But I will say, if you're looking for something more adventurous, look towards Changping Valley rather than Double Bridge Valley, because most of what you're going to see is kind of Chinese tourists with umbrellas walking on wooden pathways here. Wow, just spectacular views here. 360 degrees all around. We're standing at the bottom of glaciers, and you can see behind me right here, there's some glacier melt running off the mountain. This is just glorious. So we're standing actually at 3,800 meters, and the tops of these mountains are easily 5,000, 5,500 meters. There's some pretty gnarly stuff here. Okay, here are the green buses in the park. So we're at 3,800 meters. We're at the very far end of the park, and you can kind of just hop on and off these buses throughout the day. They're going to stop at these little boardwalk walks. You're probably never more than 200, 300 meters on a boardwalk away from the bus. So you walk around 5-10 minutes, take some pictures, then get back on the bus, and then go to the next little boardwalk stops. Okay, here at the Sequoia Woods stop, you can see vendors with lots of tourist things, including local potatoes, corn, umbrellas, and oxygen, if you happen to need oxygen at 3,800 meters. I don't personally feel like you need oxygen at this height, especially when you're riding a bus most of the day, but, you know, whatever helps you feel a little bit better. Ooh, it's kind of hot. Okay, we're here at the second stop of the park bus. You can see behind me there's this beautiful stupa. It's probably about 20 meters tall. It's beautiful, just dominates the landscape. Traditionally, these stupas, or what's called a gompa, G-O-M-P-A in Tibetan, is a holy site that's usually used as a place of remembering a holy monk. So maybe if a holy monk has passed away or meditated here, they'll bury some of the monk's items, maybe a book, his glasses, something that's sacred to the monk, in the ground, and this then becomes a holy site. Tibetans will walk around this stupa several times as a form of worship. So behind me is a rock wall inscribed with Tibetan characters. If you visit a monastery or are part of anything in the Buddhist culture in Western China, you're probably going to see something like this. This rock wall has individual rocks, and each rock has the Tibetan prayer carved in it with 6 Tibetan characters that says, Om Mani Padme Om. This is basically a prayer for enlightenment, asking the Buddha of compassion for compassion on all living beings, which means please help us have a better life next life. Please relieve our suffering in this life and relieve our suffering in the next life. So this is a prayer of compassion, and you can see that these stones all are hand carved. Think about how long it would take to carve one of these stones. Man, it must have taken months for one guy just to chip out all these prayers, and every single one of these stones has the same prayer. So this is Shuangqiao Valley, or Double Bridge Valley. The whole valley is about 34 kilometers long and is named for these 2 famous bridges that local Tibetans built. Of course, now there's Park Road that goes through this area, but there used to be these 2 wooden bridges, one made of willow wood and one made of redwood, and those bridges were basically the only access into this valley traditionally. And for all the local Tibetan nomads who herd yaks and sheep here, that was very important for them, which is why this is called Shuangqiao Valley, or Double Bridge Valley. Okay, we're here at Siguniangshan, or Four Sisters Lake. So this is it's a small lake. It's probably only about 100 meters across. We're at 3,588 meters, and this lake is particularly interesting because of its clear blue turquoise color, and also these trees that grow inside this lake. This was one of the first bridges responsible for the name of the valley, which is Double Bridge Valley. You can see if you didn't have a bridge, it would be very, very difficult to cross this particular lake, as a lot of this area around here is either high cliff face or swamp. Doing the boardwalk around the lake here, and ultimately, as soon as you get more than 100 meters away from the bus, you have the whole path to yourself. So even though you're on a boardwalk, it's super nice just to get out in nature, and this is about a kilometer walk all the way around the lake. The lake is definitely one of the highlights of the park for me. It's super interesting. Not a huge lake, but yeah, in my travels I've really never seen anything like it, and the way the trees grow out of it is just something otherworldly, out of Lord of the Rings or a C.S. Lewis book. Okay, final assessment of the Double Bridge Valley in the Four Sisters area. I'd say yes, definitely give it a green light. Put an extra day on your travel calendar for this, as long as you're not looking for something too hardcore as far as mountaineering or rock climbing or anything like that, and are okay riding the public park bus with some Chinese travelers and traveling the boardwalks. I think you're really going to like this area, especially good for families with kids or people that just don't want to walk too far and want to experience nature without, all the camping and all that stuff. Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us on our trip to Western China to Four Sisters. This is Ben Cubbage, and subscribe to our channel. Check us out for more in travel and adventure.